We're good.
So I was thinking, we just faded in like this. Okay, do you hear that? Do you hear? That's the sound. That's in the background.
Okay.
You hear it?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so then we do this.
Okay.
Good morning. News at the top of the hour. Altcoins are down 2% in Western exchanges, but insomniacs in Asia are bullish for 3% up on the overnight. Bitcoin is at half a Pluto, up 15.5%. Stay tuned for traffic, weather, and CryptoKitty congestion after these words from our sponsors.
What? No. What? Wait. What's going on?
Howdy, I'm Bitcoin Billy from Bitcoin Billy's pre-owned mining rig retailer. We've got all your favorite SHA-256 script, X11, 13, and 15 Neo script, Qubits, Quark, script adaptive N, and Grodals.
All right, all right. That's good. We're not doing this.
Come on down to the mining rig triplex.
Welcome to Blockheads, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pete.
This is Rocco.
And this is not Nerd Money News.
This is the Nerd Money News Network.
No, that's not the new thing.
This is the Nerd Money News Network.
No.
This is the News Money Nerd Network. Oh wait, let me get my inner Olbermann here. Hold on. This is the Nerd Money News Network.
I'm still in favor of Blockheads.
It's the NMNN. Did I say that right?
The Amen.
It rolls off the tongue. The Nerd Money News Network.
No, I still think Blockheads is the way to go.
One of these days, we're going to need to pivot, Pete. We're going to need to pivot, and where are we going to be? We're going to have to be doing 24-hour crypto news. It's going to be that big.
24 hours?
Yeah, just like you're in the car,
The
you're
people
driving.
can't take us when we're an hour and a half.
Nobody says that.
Oh, all right.
Also, what about when you're in the car? You're going to need news, traffic, weather, CryptoKitty congestion, and what are your altcoins doing?
No, man. Blockheads. Hey, guys, this is Pete.
Hey, this is Rocco. I came here to get swifty and talk about nerd money, and I'm already pretty swifty.
Ah, jeez, Rocco.
Can't wait for season 4 Rick and Morty. Jeez. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 2019. Imagine how much the crypto's going to be worth then.
We're not going to have to wait until 2019 for more Rick and Morty.
Yes, we are.
Come
Season
on.
4 is scheduled for... Well, anyway, let's go ahead and introduce the generous, prosperous folks, non-fictitious, of course, that are backing our podcast.
Well, there's no one on the list here.
So we have no sponsors this week.
Yeah, we're going to keep it short because there's too much to talk about.
All right, okay, cool.
Just imagine that we told you to buy stuff because some ICO wants to raise a bunch of money, and who knows if they're going to actually make good on their promises.
Yeah, let's talk some crypto etiquette, Rocco.
Okay, Pete sent me this cool article. It can be found on medium.com, written by a pop-up ad. It's blocking my view. No, okay, it was there. Yeah, I clicked it. We have Vinay Gupta, which we maybe have used one of his articles before.
Probably.
With some cool analysis. Article titled, "The Great ICO Freeze is Beginning. What does it mean for crypto in 2018? So at some point, the Dalai Lama said something about be the change in the world to make it better. Do it yourself. Nobody will do it for you. The Dalai Lama said that.
Really?
So let's just pretend.
Was he reading Gandhi and...
Yeah.
And, Teresa, what's her name at the same time?
Wait, no. It was another famous public figure. It was Aberdolf Linkler.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, this piece about the ICO freeze, quote unquote, opens with President Obama when he made a speech at South by Southwest in 2016.
He said, "Now let me be clear. The Fed's view encryption as a problem."
Obama was talking about encryption, and I get the example.
These are people walking around with a Swiss bank account in their pockets.
Yeah, and that spawned an acronym, SBAITP.
Yeah, the SPADP.
We're all going to be SBAITP.
SPADP. It's about as pronounceable as
Nerd Money News Network.
So yeah, Swiss bank accounts in our pockets.
So what the guy was saying, Mr. Gupta was saying, ICOs will probably be regulated.
Of course.
I mean, that's already happened. He posted a picture of an SEC document for the Munchie. That's with 2 E's. ICO, maybe they're on the list. And there's more
ICO.
There's more ICOs on the list.
Is it a snack buffet ICO?
It's probably like Grubhub or one of them apps for stoner college students, I bet.
Okay.
Maybe. They're trying to tokenize on the blockchain people that, were doing too many dabs and now they're hungry.
And so, I mean, it was the great ICO freeze is beginning. What does it mean for crypto in 2018? So with $600 billion in nerd money, there is a lot of good that cryptocurrency can do and probably will have to do, because if the dollar's doomed to fail, then all the things the dollar does, however poorly right now, will need to be done by cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of things does the dollar do that we're trying to maybe get rid of, replace?
It conceals cocaine residue, apparently. They're all covered in it. That's what I saw on 2020. I heard it. They had a scientist. Everything's covered in drugs.
All the dollars?
All the dollars, nickels, Sacagawea, even probably the older ones, the Franklins that are out of circulation, just covered in coke dust.
What kind of things does the dollar do that crypto's going to have to do? This is a point of the article. What about welfare? If the dollar falls apart, welfare, all the benefits, all the social net, safety.
The guy's not even talking about replacing the utilitarian exchange of value part. He's talking about bigger stuff. He's talking about more like a smart economy. If we're all going to get a little bit more wealthier,
right,
because of blockchain currencies, there's sort of an onus on the crypto nerds to optimize society somewhat.
Well, if crypto takes over,
in every single way,
where does military funding come from now? Where does welfare funding come from now? This was actually specific examples in the article. Where are these things gonna come from? Things that the government helps people do. Are we gonna have to figure out new safety net things?
Well, no. I mean, he was saying that the welfare collapses, the military collapses. Those aren't terrible things. Entirely terrible things. They're not.
But that makes, he argues,
if you have a world with no welfare state and you have a world with the military's collapse, that's far-fetched. But basically, there's a 21st century way to reorganize the economy.
Right, and his point is that we haven't even gotten close to developing that yet. When we're making 99 million new enemies, some with nuclear weapons, because we destroyed their way of life, we've got to have a replacement system. There's got to be a new way forward that's more than just, the libertarian vision, I guess, that crypto, and I'm not meaning that everyone in crypto is a libertarian. I'm just saying that this vision that crypto has needs to really be developed to account for a lot of things that will fall apart if fiat does.
Right. Yeah. So maybe there's more questions than answers in this article, but we're talking about it, and that's a start.
Yeah. So we need to figure out things like handling, I mean, I don't know. We were talking about inheritance the other day.
Yeah, we were.
If the world just went to crypto tomorrow, there would be no inheritance for anybody because there's no good solution out there. I was looking at My Wish, an ICO that sort of does a contract where you can send Ethereum from your account to someone else's account if you're not active for a certain amount of time. But that's not the best solution, I don't think. And it only works with Ethereum and Ethereum tokens. But there are other things too. I mean, like what is property going to be like? What are all these programs we're replacing going to look like? How is funding for schools going to look? I mean, all these things that are just going to go out the window, especially if the government finds it difficult to tax in the future, which is actually a big point in the article.
Getting back to the SBATP, the Swiss bank account in their pockets.
Right, yeah.
Subba-idip.
Yeah.
Subba-idip?
Yeah. So will the government have to rely... I think he says the government might have to rely on sales tax and poll tax?
Yeah.
Which poll tax is for strip clubs, right?
It's for that thing when people decide how to divide up the stolen money, to get a job with the stolen money, and then who's going to go and fight over the stolen money.
Okay.
Elections.
Oh, right.
That's what a poll tax is.
Okay.
So we don't have that in the U.S. But yeah, a sales tax, that's a thing. That's everywhere. It's at every level of production, pretty much. And then they could even get into value-added tax nonsense. They could say, if you get a widget and you turn it into a wumbus, they tax it. And then when you take all the wumbuses and you turn it into a plumbus, there's another tax on that. Mm-hmm. That's how they can fund their failed endeavor. That's optional. So yeah, it's a good article. I think I might have to do some more reading on progressive utilization theory, which is what he brings up. He's talking about a 1960s idea to create a society without waste.
Yeah,
I think
alternative to capitalism, right?
A little bit, yeah. So,
and that includes not wasting human potential, interestingly. So maybe this article gets a little bit too far out for some readers. But the point is, we want digital currency to take over the world system, but it's not anywhere near ready to do that.
Yeah.
And we have to make it ready in order for it to have a chance to win all these people's hearts, to adopt it and such.
And getting back to that misattributed quotation from Aberdolf Linkler that I mentioned earlier, it is worth mentioning that Vinay Gupta, he's part of Materium. That's a coin, and I think it's cool. He's trying to get the necessary legal framework in place for direct control of physical property using blockchain, recognized in 150 plus countries.
Right, so now I can put my house on the blockchain, and I can give it to Rocco on the blockchain, but will a judge hold that up in court? Not really. Maybe. There's no precedent for that.
Yeah, there's no precedent. So somebody is at least working on one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
And that's cool, so thank you for writing that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We still haven't released round 0, but it is almost ready.
What?
Yes, we have questions and answers coming up, and all sorts of... We have a chart that might be released with it.
Ooh, a chart?
All sorts of things.
What
yes.
else?
Terms for newbies.
Is there a prize at the bottom? Is there a toy?
There's a prize. If you listen all the way through, there will be a prize given.
Is there like a QR code that I can download free music from the Apple Store on it too? What else is there?
Oh, actually, we already gave out the free music about a year and a half ago. We automatically uploaded a U2 album to everyone's Apple Store. So we already did that.
Okay.
You don't know about that, do you?
No, I remember. It was the reason that I got rid of my iPhone.
That was the reason.
I think I had one. And then I was like, well, I hate you too. And I hate Apple now also.
And that was the reason. Well,
partially.
I know that I wasn't happy. Everybody wasn't really happy about that.
It's a crime. It's a crime.
But anyway, speaking of Bitcoin adoption.
What?
Yeah, we got a headline here.
That wasn't any kind of a segue.
Well, no, I mean, it was a but anyway segue. I went back to what we were saying about cryptocurrency being adopted, and now we're talking about adoption.
Okay.
Bitcoin is surging. I mean, it's kind of going sideways right now, but overall the entire market is surging. Lots of cryptos going up, doubling this week. And so has membership to your favorite subreddits.
Yep. These numbers are staggering, and I tried to find out where the source is for this, but I couldn't find a source, so let's just say it seems legit.
Everything on the internet related to cryptocurrency is true, as we know.
It seems legit, Pete. Okay, so if we're talking about July 2017, and then we're talking about December of 2017, these numbers seem to make sense, and I don't have the patience to gather them, so instead we'll just read what some other guy posted.
Ha!
Ta-da!
All right. Let's hear some numbers. What about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin subreddit?
110.55%.
Oh, what about the BTC subreddit?
154.63%.
Ethereum.
129.90%.
IOTA.
1,059.56%.
Ripple.
353.97%.
Litecoin.
225.54%.
And, amazingly, Cardano. The subreddit. 133,000% up. Of course, it started at 14, Rocco. I think that number's a little biased. Everybody's getting on the subreddits. I'm not even on Reddit.
Well, there's a lot of good stuff to read there, Peter.
Are you sure it's all good stuff?
It's not good stuff, but it's what people are saying, and therefore it helps you know what people are thinking and who's out there doing what.
Gotcha.
You don't have to do what everyone's doing, but you want to know what people are doing.
Right. That's called market sentiment, ladies and gentlemen.
Market sentiment. Totally. Well, the important thing I like from this chart is that my preferred subreddit, the r/cryptocurrency subreddit.
Yep.
That one is just behind the Bitcoin subreddit. Well, okay, it's not just behind it. It's ahead of the Ethereum subreddit. It's number 2, basically.
Okay.
These percentages are crazy, though. And we're talking about what has happened during 2017 in the nerd money space. This is where you find it. This is clear, picture perfect.
So what about the Googles? What about search trends?
Oh, that was how you segue then there, Peter. Okay.
Can you stop meta, like, commenting on my segue?
Here's what I got.
I couldn't imagine playing a role-playing game with you. You would like always critique the GM. Oh, man. Meta.
General Motors?
You don't worry about it. So, Bitcoin trends on Google Trends.
Well, according to the dailyhodl.com, which is a great website name.
Google searches for Bitcoin are bigger than Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift combined?
Yeah, that's crazy. They make the claim exponentially bigger because of this little thing, I think. But currently, as of this week, yeah, there is a big boost in Bitcoin searches.
What does that huge like hockey stick thing at the end represent?
It's a dotted line, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess like what's the date there? Just guess it. Is that like the last week? Bitcoin
Possibly.
surges majorly. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
You must feel bad about this because you said you were a Swiftie earlier in the show.
I said Swifty, sir.
Oh, Swiftie. All right. Well, anyway.
So basically, that's it. That's the news.
So people are searching for Bitcoin. Look at this little graphic. It's maybe a Taylor Swift concert. Hopefully, it's not a Kim Kardashian concert. Jeez.
Yeah, it's really brilliant Photoshop Friday.
And then it's just got a sort of semi-transparent Bitcoin logo. At least it's not a coin.
As if everyone at Coachella is cheering for Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with Bitcoin on the stage, are altcoins getting more popular too?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
Because everyone knows that GDAX/Coinbase, they're adding new coins that people can trade for fiat. You can trade your fiat and get different kinds of nerd money starting next year. And it's a big deal.
Coinbase is adding new coins, man.
Yeah.
I think everyone that is listening to this show should have those coins before they hit Coinbase, if possible.
Yes.
That's not financial advice, but it's strong opinion.
I have a strongly worded suggestion for all of our blockaholics. Use our link on blockheadspod.com/Coinbase. It'll take you to Coinbase. We will get $10 extra, and you'll get $10 extra if you buy $100 or more in nerd money.
Yes, any nerd money of your choice, and we'll both get a bonus $10 of nerd money.
But the real thing is you have to guess which nerd money is going to be listed on Coinbase first, because obviously it'll be open to a wider market.
Well, you don't have to do that to get started.
But it's what everyone wants to do now. And this guy from this article found on tokenbeat.com, this guy says, I scored 1,300 cryptocurrencies with the GDAX asset framework, which is what GDAX put out saying, this is what we're looking at if we're going to list new coins. By the way, we do want to list new coins. Here's the framework.
And then on page 1 of the same framework, they said, by the way, we can still list coins even if they're terrible according to this framework, or not list them if they're great. So I don't know, maybe I take this with a grain of salt.
Okay, well, grain of salt it then. But, wow. 1,300 cryptocurrencies is a lot.
And so he took the time to rank all of them. Looks like he's got a mega Excel sheet there with green and reds and oranges and yellows.
Yeah, it's a lot of criteria and a lot of columns. Everyone should look at it. In fact, it kind of looks like an exploded view of a Gustav Klimt painting or something.
In autumn.
Kind of cool.
Clearly in autumn.
Yeah. Fancy.
To see what we're talking about, go to the link in the show notes. But what coins did he decide on here? What does he think is going to be added to Coinbase and GDAX?
Can I lightning round through his list of high eligibility coins?
As long as there are fewer than 4.
No.
Okay.
Ripple, IOTA, Dash, Monero, Ether Classic, NEM, EOS, Stellar, Qtum, OME's Go, Zcash, Stratus, Waves, Next, BitShares, Bytecoin, Steem, Decred, Vertcoin, Siacoin, Golem, Status, MaidSafe Coin, Dogecoin, Power Ledger, BAT, Astinium, Kyber, Raiden, Zcoin, Metal, Civic, Storj, Nexus, Zencash, Chainlink, QuantStamp, Aragon, NetQuest Network, Enigma, Kin, Sonum, Redcoin, WeTrust, Lubber Credits, Grid Plus, Numerare, Namecoin, Unicoin, Gold, Chiron, Vibrate, Poet, Folding Coin, Prime Coin, Quark, Filecoin, Blockstack. And that's the list of...
It's like a Poke Rap. You remember the Poke Rap? Yeah, so anyway. So that whole list, those were his finalists?
He said it took him 3 weeks to work through it, and then eventually, based on some of the performance data of a lot of coins, he's just started cutting. Because, after 3 weeks, you're like, let's finish this project up. So a lot of coins didn't make the cut, even to the final rounds, which is cool. It seems very formulaic and a rigorous test of the nerd money. It gives us a top 3.
The top 3 are, drumroll please.
The top 3 is my bottom 1. I don't like Ripple. So that's the top one he lists. I don't like Ripple.
You don't think Ripple, but do you think Ripple's likely to be added to Coinbase?
I think it's a joke, but yeah, it will be.
It will be.
It will be.
Coinbase. Now, is this this is probably part of the reason Ripple has gone up from 22 cents or whatever to 83 cents.
I don't even think that.
Really?
I mean, I don't know the views on this article, but...
No, I don't mean this article, but it's widely rumored that Ripple's one of the currencies being added to Coinbase.
That could be the reason. I think, just like a caveman can do it, make gains. Even a caveman coin can make it in this market, or maybe a shilly banker-centric coin can achieve gains right now in the fantastic bull run of 2017.
Yep.
Forget Ripple.
So what's the other two coins?
How about Monero?
Monero, really?
That's number 2.
I think that Coinbase is so concerned about legal compliance and being on the good side of the law that Monero might not want to do that because it's a little sketchy. It's not sketchy, but you know what I mean.
I know.
It's viewed as sketchy. It's kind of where Bitcoin was a few years back, where everyone was like, well, you just use that for the Silk Road. You know, you can just buy heroin with Bitcoin. That's all you can buy.
Babies
maybe assassinations.
and heroin.
Yeah, assassinations and kidneys for your...
Assassinations, babies, and heroin. So you can kill a guy, sells baby. But before you sell baby, you can get it really, really, really messed up. It's terrible money.
Terrible money. And that was Bitcoin. And that's kind of what the feel for Monero is, because it's so anonymous. And privacy coins are great.
And what do we see today? Monero's even got some cool features coming up. Right? Wasn't there Mr. Rumor Dude?
Yeah, Monero, I just got the news, an hour ago. Monero is working on Bulletproof, I think is what they called it. But basically, the tech is going to reduce the size of Monero transactions on the blockchain by 80%, which will decrease the size of the blockchain, making things faster and transaction fees much cheaper. So that's a cool development.
That's awesome. I thought you were going to say something about it would be resistant to an FBI SWAT team. Bulletproof?
Well, okay. It already is resistant to an FBI SWAT team.
Because it's intangible.
Yeah, so Bulletproof sounds like a stellar development.
Ooh, okay.
So what's that third currency coming up?
It's one of my faves is Stellar Lumens.
Stellar Lumens.
Which is weird. Stellar Lumens seems very competitive with Ripple in the same space.
You know, it's founded by the guy who founded Ripple.
And there's that too. So, yeah, I don't know if he gets royalties on that. Obviously, the dude doesn't. But so Lumens is on the list. Lumens has been doing very well.
Yeah, it has been. There's rumors of Lumens and a Visa deal going around as well, which is really interesting. I know that they've made a deal with IBM, and everyone was talking about that. That's when it made its big run up in October. But anyway, he came out with 3, or were there some, I don't know, runners up?
Runners up. We have Zcash, also privacy centric. So, okay.
Yep.
Then we got Omi's Go, which is pretty cool.
Omsi Go, according to this guy.
Yeah, he spelled it wrong. Good for you. Twice he spelled it wrong, at least.
Omi's Go, they're trying to make cryptocurrency easier to use, more mainstream in the Asian markets specifically.
Everyone's a fan of investing in those Asian markets.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so Omi's, it's actually been a company for a long time. This is their foray. They're a successful, I don't know, banking, financial, something.
It is very successful.
Yeah, and this is their token. People swear by OMG. You know, it's going to... People swear OMG. And it's going to change the world and all that.
How about it's just under $20 right now?
Just under $20. You know what? Yesterday it was about $10.
Yeah. So that's...
But still...
That's cool.
It's got a fairly low market cap. What about what's next?
What do you think about the basic attention token, BAT? That's number 6 on the list here.
Well, it has a strong use case, a really clear use case. You can fund your Brave browser right now with some BAT.
I think you can tip via YouTube. Did that go live yet?
YouTube monetization has been... YouTubers haven't been super happy with monetization on YouTube recently.
Is this better?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to make it better, a better way.
If people get paid out quicker for talking about Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Kim Kardashian, maybe they're going to be happier with BAT, with the BAT.
Exactly. And what about if they're talking about Bitcoin? Then they'll be way happier with the BAT.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Then they could just sell their BAT for Bitcoin instead of going through the fiat thing. So maybe Coinbase doesn't want BAT for that reason.
Maybe.
Ooh.
There's too much to think about.
All right. Well, anyway, what's up next?
Another coin with a very specific use case. How about Siacoin? Blockchain storage space.
Yeah, this one's got a lot more competitors than BAT. BAT
so many.
BAT has what? ADX maybe?
ADX, a couple others, yeah.
Siacoin, I don't even know.
It's a crowded sector.
It has Storj, which is a great name, I think. Filecoin, there's more.
We're going to talk about some competitors too, because... in the main topic, there's other coins that overlap the sector of,
So the deal with this coin, with Siacoin, it's spelled S-I-A.
There you go.
Is that you can store files. You can dedicate some of your storage space on your hard drive to share with the network, and little pieces of other people's files, encrypted, of course, will be stored on that free space, and you'll get paid in Siacoin for donating your space. And likewise, you can use Siacoin if you need to store files, kind of like a super decentralized distributed Dropbox. Yeah. Where instead of where somebody could compromise Dropbox, storm Dropbox, steal your password, whatever, and get your Dropbox files. I use Dropbox as a great service, but that could happen.
I don't use Dropbox for that reason.
Yeah, okay. Here, it's entirely decent. There's nowhere to storm.
All your data is broken up over the blockchain.
Right.
So that's way smarter.
And there's nowhere to go. Like if somebody wants to seize or find your data, there's just no target, which is really common with blockchain tech. But anyway, what's number 8?
It's Steam. Very specific use case. It is a cryptocurrency that's built into a Facebook, Tumblr / Instagram type of social network.
Called Steemit.
And the Steam is what users get paid in if their posts become popular enough or if they court the attention of the whales. There's a lot of whales on Steam.
Right, and the whales on Steam have more Steam, so their votes count for more Steam dollars. There's kind of complicated.
Convoluted. But I don't know. We might have to bite the bullet and go up on there and post some stuff and make friends with the whales. Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
But
Steam is possible. I don't necessarily agree with this one.
Yeah.
But anyway, next up is Kin.
Kik Messenger has a token called Kin,
which they just announced they're not putting on Ethereum. It was probably on Ethereum when he did this research. They're moving it over to Stellar Lumens, Stellar Network, because the CryptoKitties have proven.
Some people are allergic to cats. It's just a thing. I get it. Yeah, itchy eyes.
So Kik kicked itself out of Kitty Town and is now moving to Stellarville. But Kin, I don't know, is Kin active right now?
I have no idea, but this write-up, it claims 300 million mainstream U.S. millennial users.
Because the users that use Kik, right?
Kik Messenger, which I have used Kik before, and it's pretty cool. It's like a less stupid Snapchat.
Now, is the Kik Messenger, is part of this project that the Kik Messenger is going to be more decentralized?
If I'm not mistaken, Kik Messenger is sort of like Snapchat. It doesn't hold a giant repository of messages. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so that's why I was gravitating towards it to begin with. But it's very interesting. Everyone's talking about Snapchat all the time on CNBC or whatever. And how are they going to do it? Just by stuffing ads into their friends' stories when their people are looking through Snapchat stories? Oh, and then here's Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't know. Snapchat, it's crazy.
The other day I was using Facebook Messenger. Yes, I know. Privacy, blah, blah, blah. I was using Facebook Messenger and a message came up from like an advertisement company as if they were a friend of mine in my list. Like the fourth one was, I think it was an ICO actually, but because they run Facebook ads, but it came up as if it was a contact and said, "Hey, Pete, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, no, not cool. And I went through the settings forever trying to turn this off because Facebook ads on Facebook, whatever. But when I go to Messenger, I'm not looking for that. I mean, like I tried to turn them off. It just won't. I'm going to get ads from companies now as if they're my friends talking to me on Messenger.
That is not okay. You know what is okay? I just found out my mechanic, Ed, he sent me a text with an automated system reminding me that I probably need to get my oil changed. That is okay. I like Ed. Mm-hmm. Ed is a human being. He's flesh and blood. I will receive a text from a computer at the behest of Ed.
Well, yeah, sometimes I sign up. Sometimes I sign up to receive things on Messenger. That's fine. To those bots. But I don't want those ads. And I know that everyone's going to just accept them.
Hey, Pete, it's almost lunchtime. It's me, Subway. Do you know we have $5 footlongs, Pete?
Yep.
Hey, do you know that our meat, it's tested to be almost 75% actual meat, Pete? Hey, come over to Subway, Pete. We sell almost meat, Pete.
Hello, Pete. This is Taco Bell. We heard your friends talking about us just this morning.
Ooh, do I hear that music? Wow, that's cool.
We heard your friends talking about us just this morning and talking about our wonderful chalupas and how you would like to get your hands and teeth and mouth on them. So please come into Taco Bell. It's like... Jeez, man. There's one more left. One more currency.
It's very likely. This last one seems like the most probable. It's Dash.
Oh, yeah. I would say that.
which Dash features include friends with marijuana growers, a huge new all-time high of over 1,000 recently, and privacy.
When we started this podcast, it was, I think, under $300.
That's right. 280, I bet.
Privacy, well, it was built as kind of a privacy coin.
So it's weird, 3 privacy coins on this short list.
I think Dash has optional privacy. It's not like Monero where it's privacy by default. Monero is by default private.
Yeah.
Dash, you have to choose to be private, and it's more expensive and takes longer.
There you go.
Monero does take longer, but I mean, like, it takes longer to do a private Dash transaction than a normal Dash transaction. Now, it's worth going back and talking about the marijuana link that you mentioned.
There is. There's a cannabis connection.
Yeah, the federal law means that banks won't work with
all these dispensaries.
Yeah, dispensaries in states where it's legal. So they have to keep a bunch of cash on hand, which is obviously not ideal.
Nope.
You know, they're already keeping a lot of hash. Now they got to keep a lot of cash. So Dash wants to give them another kind of hash to replace their cash for their hash. So it's the Dash Cash hash cash hash. Anyway, sorry, that worked. A big mash of rhyming words there. You want to bash me over the head? Go ahead.
Yeah.
But so I'll stop the trash puns
for the hash, so I can bash Pete's head.
We're gonna crash our viewer count with this trash about Dash Cash hash mash. So let's move on.
Okay. Speaking of people getting mashed and bashed over the head, how about a class action lawsuit?
Yeah.
Against an ICO that was promoted by none other than Floyd Mayweather Jr.
The king of the head bashing.
King of the ring.
Mashing,
one of the most principal head bashers in the business of bashing heads.
So it's been popular for ICOs recently to seek celebrities to promote them. And this one, it's called, what is it called? Sentra?
Yes.
Sentra was promoted by Floyd Mayweather.
As well as DJ Khaled.
Oh,
music producer.
Yeah, same thing. So DJ Khaled and Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, they weren't named in the suit, though. That's what this thing says right here. So it's not really on them. They're not culpable. But boy, Sentra. Do you know the story, the deets, Sentra?
No, I don't.
Was it phony baloney?
I remember hearing about it a while back, but I wasn't interested in its plan or anything.
It seems like they're just getting pinched for selling a security that's unregistered.
And I'm of the opinion, and most people in this space are not of this opinion, but I'm of the opinion that really all these ICO tokens are basically securities. Even if they're a different kind of security, a utility token, people are buying them in order to succeed when the company succeeds. Unless they're just trying to flip them real fast.
Which is what a lot of people do. If you look at the charts, it's always a gigantic peak and then a cliff where the price drops down to normal, where it probably should have started.
So for possibly selling securities, there's a lawsuit against Sentra, this ICO, and I think we might see a lot more unless this is just kind of a scapegoat thing.
Why are we reading about this and not reading about every other token that came out this year?
What do you mean?
I mean, pretty much all the ICOs could be branded as securities by people with guns.
That's what I'm arguing,
and keys to a jail. So just the one unfortunate ICO is being brought to court and none of the other ones?
Well, how many times do you see the long arm of the law finding a scapegoat, finding somebody that needs to take the fall, somebody that takes the fall for Napster, downloads, or Pirate Bay, pirating Game of Thrones or whatever. They don't go after everybody. They go after one, they make an example of them. It's been the way humans and justice works for thousands of years.
Right, I get that. So basically, does it look like reaching out to Floyd Mayweather Jr. and DJ Khaled, is that what got them on the radar? By doing that's what put them in the hot seat?
Maybe, but they
probably.
Also,
that's what
maybe they're just the first people someone's filed a class action lawsuit against.
Somebody maybe gave them a bunch of money to Sentra, and then they're like, I don't know what is this thing I bought. I did it because Floyd Mayweather told me to buy it, and now I don't know. And oh no, the price is down. Oh man, I'm going to call my uncle. He works for the SEC.
Yeah. Something like that. So more details will, I'm sure, develop. And this goes back to what we were talking about, the ICO freeze a little bit earlier, how that might slow things in 2018, maybe.
Is there a freeze upcoming?
But most people don't believe that things are going to slow down in 2018. Most Bitcoin investors believe that cryptocurrency in 2018 will outperform 2017. I've even heard it said that 2018 will make 2017 look like 2016.
Whoa, you just blew my mind there. That's not a promise, Blockaholics.
No, we're not saying that. We've heard it said. But do you really think 2018 is going to be better? Bitcoin's up 2,000, it's probably more now, %. Litecoin's up 4,000, it's more now, 5,000%. The whole market is up from like 18 billion to like 600 billion this year. Will we really see that kind of multiple next year where we'll be in the tens of trillions?
I don't know. Are we going to have days like today where I click on Bittrex and I try to sort all the coins by percentage change? I want to see what's on sale. So I click the column to see what's at the lowest percent or what's negative, what went down today. And when I clicked on it earlier today, nothing was down. Not a damn thing.
Well, we'll have days like that, I'm sure, but will the year be like that?
Oh, look at this coin. It's only up 5% today. I guess I'm going to have to buy that because it's been 17 straight weeks of everything is up. I can't see that happening. I hope not. I like buying stuff on sale.
I mean, like, well, sales dips might happen, but look at the beginning of the year. Go look at your prices. Bitcoin was at hundreds,
$200.
Hundreds of dollars. Nexus, one of my favorites, was pennies, and now it's $4. You know, that's a ridiculously huge increase. If that happened again next year, the Nexus would be like $400. You know, and Bitcoin would be I don't even let me think about that. You know,
it's
like
what all the mega
$400,000.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Which certain people are saying.
Yes. Will that happen next year? Most Bitcoin investors think yes, but everyone wants to think they're going to do great. So maybe there's a little bit of bias here. Maybe. Well, I think it's going to do well, but I don't know if it's going to blow 2017 out of the water. What do you think?
I think we have to talk about that other thing I found. So let's get that. You sent me a good article.
Yeah. From
Business Insider Deutschland. What's that headline say?
No wonder investors are rushing into cryptocurrencies. That's probably misleading. The average ICO returns are 1,320%. That means that if without any consideration for any factors about team or scammergrammer or anything, you invested in every single ICO so far with the exact same amount of money. Let's just say, for sake of argument, that you invested $10 in every ICO. Then on average, you would have $132 for every ICO. The average return was 13.2 times.
That's crazy.
This is Mangrove Capital Partners claiming this. If you blindly invested in every one, you would have had a 13.2x return.
And get a load of this guy's name. How about that?
Michael Jackson, the great football player.
Or the great of the culinary, what was he, a beer critic? That guy too. Well, Michael Jackson is...
This is the COO of Skype, Michael Jackson.
CEO of Skype, partner at Mangrove. Okay, yeah. 204 different ICOs, the ones that had known outcomes, ones where the tokens are now actively being traded on exchanges, or some of them have failed. Many of them, I mean, it's a significant number have failed. Mm-hmm. I like this chart that they have here. This is important. This is a great chart. We're talking about equity funding, which would be traditional means of getting money for your startup.
Where you sell either to angel investors, venture capitalists, whatever, you sell ownership in your company
right.
to receive funding. ICO funding's arguably not like that. You get to keep control of your company.
So basically they have the chart starting at Q1 2016.
That's not that long ago.
2 years. It's
almost 2 years ago. And equity funding way outweighs ICO funding at that point.
Yeah, like by a factor of 10, and that's sort of the trend that continues into Q3 2016, but then all of a sudden Q4 2016, it's a little bit more even there. 83 million in equity funding. ICO funding is 39 million. But then we're talking about Q1 2017. It looks a little bit the same.
But then in Q2, just boom.
Yeah, then that's when ICOs shoot up at 757 million in ICO funding versus equity funding only down there at 248.
And then Q3 was just famous for its incredible amount of ICO funding.
In Q4 2017, we still don't know yet.
We still don't know yet.
We're still
it's going to be less than Q3, I think, actually, because the ICOs are raising less money, even if there's tons of them. I mean, it's more rare nowadays that you hear of an ICO raising $400 million. But that was insane. A thing.
Yeah. So basically, this giant spike where ICO funding looks like it's 5 times the amount of equity funding.
Yeah.
The market's saturated. Maybe people aren't into it so much. The regulators are coming out. Maybe the nightmare's over. I don't know. I've never bought an ICO. I'll say that right now. This article's fantastic, but it doesn't make me feel FOMO because I've never bought into an ICO, and I think that's okay.
I've bought into like 5 ICOs, and on average, I'm up about 10x.
And how many fails, Pete?
Let's see. Well, what do you mean by a fail?
I don't know. Weren't there duds that you put money into?
Yeah. Well, why don't I just quick tell you about them?
No.
So ICOs we might be seeing some regulation come down, and what Gupta said at our very beginning article was that the ICO freeze might hold up cryptocurrency in 2018 a little bit, but not everyone agrees.
Yeah, what if you got a bunch of money that you just printed out of thin air or something? It used to be backed by gold and silver, and maybe you're, say, the royal family of a former empire that had any value?
Like Latvia?
Empire.
Lithuania.
Value.
There was totally a Lithuanian empire.
Okay.
Oh, maybe England?
That's what the article says.
Okay. The article says that this English guy, who's it saying? Oh, Andrew Bailey. Andrew Bailey says that new green investors are going to lose the money they've invested in Bitcoin.
And that is England's Financial Conduct Authority, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's worried about the people that are buying nerd money, and they might lose some of their fiat. But this is a country that probably isn't on the gold standard anymore, and they have massive amounts of debt. And so, I don't know. They're complaining about one thing, but not the other. Good. That's great.
Well, you think some of these guys see the writing on the wall, or maybe they're not into it, so they don't see how it could possibly succeed?
They're getting jealous, maybe?
I mean, they do make a good point that there's no way to value Bitcoin. There's none of us can put a pin right now on what the actual value of Bitcoin is, but that's because value is just this elusive concept, But so anyway, and in line with this kind of thinking, the Coutts Bank, which handles the royal family's finances, is not investing a penny in cryptocurrencies. Nope.
That's super smart.
Oh yeah, I know you think that.
I think it's a winning formula for winning.
So not everyone is bullish on Bitcoin, even though most Bitcoin investors think that 2018 is going to make 2017 look like 2016.
You already said that, man.
Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that.
Look at this.
I hope that, but hoping and thinking are not the same thing, despite what Reddit says. What's up next? What's up?
It's just another article that does the .com 90s comparison.
Oh, okay.
It's got a picture of a physical Bitcoin, and it's got a 90s .com bubble comparison.
So there might be a bubble.
Thank you very much, Cointelegraph.
There might be a bubble, but people forget that the .com bubble burst, and those companies that went through that became the biggest companies in the world.
The ones that survived, definitely.
Yeah. And people who own some of those companies, they now they have lots of money.
And one of them, like Amazon, for instance, that did survive. I bought a wonderful backpack that is making my life better, and it was a good price. And thank you, Amazon. Yeah, that's progress.
Amazon was just mentioned on a CNBC crypto segment.
What did the guy say? He was the one dude on the panel that was in favor of nerd money. And he was saying that if the .com bubble did burst, it was horrible for some people, but it did bring the world Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what you would expect. Again, if there's a bubble here in nerd money, we'll just have a definitive king of nerd money, or multiple kings and queenses.
But anyway, there's another some other people out there that would say we're in like 1999 of the .com bubble. So just always be aware that could go to zero. Boom.
Okay, it could.
But the .com bubble didn't go to zero. There was a huge crash in some cryptos, or there's a huge crash in some companies, but then there were a bunch of survivors.
What's more likely to go to zero?
Oh, more likely to go to zero? Well, let's read about
this next story that sort of highlights how some things go to zero sometimes when Michigan State University scholars find $21 trillion in unauthorized government spending.
21 trillion?
The Defense Department to conduct first ever audit.
Holy man.
You can find this on msutoday.msu.edu, so that's pretty official, and maybe people should save this website onto cold storage hard drive.
Oh, didn't they have to do something like that? They analyzed these records from 1998 to 2016, right, to find $21 trillion in unauthorized spending.
Yeah, it was this guy, Mark Skidmore at MSU, and his team. This whole study included digging into government websites and repeated queries to U.S. agencies that went unanswered. Also, inquiries to the Office of Inspector General. At one point, they disabled the links to all the key documents showing the unsupported spending, and luckily those researchers downloaded and stored those documents to discover $21 trillion, which is a lot of those billion-dollar blocks that we talked about a few weeks ago, Pete.
So calling the Office of Inspector General triggered them to just try to cover somebody to try to cover the tracks.
Cover some tracks. Yeah. We got these nosy grad students and they're driving around in a van with a talking dog and they're trying to pull the mask off of the evildoer at the end of the Scooby-Doo episode. Ruh-roh, Scooby. 21 trillion. And apparently it's not all the Defense Department. This is also Housing and Urban Development Department.
So this has caused the Defense Department to conduct its first ever audit.
Yeah, what's that about? How's that going to go down?
Well, I guess the government sort of responded now that it's out in public. Either that or there'll be some bodies in the river soon.
Yeah, basically the genesis of this discovery, Mark Skidmore got involved last spring when he heard Catherine Austin Fitz, former Assistant Secretary of the Housing and Urban Development Department, referred to a report which she indicated the Army had $6.5 trillion in unsupported adjustments or spending in fiscal 2015, and given the Army's $122 billion budget, that meant unsupported adjustments were 54 times spending authorized by Congress.
Oh man, 54 times. Now that's over budget.
And then Skidmore says he thought that Fitz made a mistake. He said maybe she meant 6.5 billion and not 6.5 trillion. So I found the report myself, and sure enough, it was 6.5 trillion. So then they kept digging more, and then here we have this story that will soon be scrubbed and tossed down the memory hole, possibly.
Well, it's a big story, and put up the story. I'm going to post it, I know that. Wouldn't it be great if we could get government spending on the blockchain? We would never have this kind of problem.
And maybe that would be better.
Let's not put government spending on Monero.
Right, yeah.
It kind of already is, I guess, but whatever. So yeah, huge amount of money just disappeared.
So you can be
spending.
You can be bearish on Bitcoin, but you probably need to be equally bearish on the fiat Federal Reserve note that, geez, they can't even find where it goes when the government has control of it. Come on now. Someone should show that to Jordan Belfort and Jamie Dimon and all the other people. How many people bashed Bitcoin this week? So there you go. People talking about nerd money. Guess what, Pete? I'm hungry. Let's take a break.
All right. Cue the music.
We have to have a candid discussion that rolls in.
Okay, but normally it's about how work sucks for Rocco, or
we're not going to do that this
Rocco's latest girlfriend doesn't exist.
That is that's never been discussed, and it doesn't need to be discussed. What we need to discuss is all the predictions. Everyone's got an opinion. There's so much going on, so many charts. Is this an unprecedented time?
What do you mean? Like everyone has a different idea about the future? No, that's always been true.
Has there ever been a time where there's so much speculation about the future, but the outcome probably could be seen so quickly? The answer is right on the horizon. We just need to let the planet spin a little bit further, and the answer might be there.
So you're talking about the dollar.
The dollar, yeah, or the bubble bursting, or the singularity, Skynet, Transcendent Man, all those things. What about the robots? What about the aliens? Who cares? It's very, very, very weird time right now.
Okay.
Is Ryan Seacrest going to be shilling an ICO on New Year's Rockin' Eve with Jenny McCarthy?
Maybe. That would be great. What should we call it?
Is that going to be the sign of the times? Is Satoshi Nakamoto going to be Time's Faceless Man of the Year for 2018?
Is there a Faceless Man of the Year for Times?
No, normally it's a person with a face, but in this case,
I know.
If 2018 is the year of the Bitcoin,
Faceless Man of the Year.
What do they do?
A man is not Satoshi Nakamoto.
Is the Man of the Year going to be a coin that never actually existed? It's going to be the stock image from every Cointelegraph article of a coin, a physical
what if the
Bitcoin.
Man of the Year is Bitcoin. That's happened. And it's just things like that have happened before. A non-person has been named Person of the Year.
Like the inanimate carbon rod from that Simpsons episode.
Stuff like that, yeah.
They give him the key to the city because it held the door to the reactor shut or whatever Homer did.
So anyway, about bubbles.
Right. We got to talk about it.
Everyone is saying Bitcoin. Even big Bitcoin proponents are saying Bitcoin's in a bubble. And it's really true. There's a lot of speculation going on. Like as we were just reading, 2 of the top 10 coins don't even have functioning networks.
Yep.
EOS
Coin
and
market
Cardano.
cap. Yeah, you can see that Cardano and EOS, both on the top 10, both are being accused of actually being vaporware. No working product. They use the V word. Yeah.
Vaporware is rough.
Painful.
Yeah. But where people are betting $15 billion on a plan.
It's a good plan. It's a big website. It's
a good plan with a really... And their website links to another website where if you drag your finger around the screen or your mouse around the screen, IOHK, it makes like Mac screensaver-esque rainbowy clouds.
That you can control. That's not the reason people are buying Cardano.
No, but they don't know why they're buying Cardano. Most of them.
It's speculative, but is it a bubble? If people do like what Vinay Gupta was saying, actually produce some solutions.
Well, so... The question, is cryptocurrency a bubble? Let's set those still not yet functioning cryptos aside and talk about the ones that actually do work, at least. Because that's the bulk of the top 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that functioning cryptosphere in a bubble?
I don't know, but I do want to talk about what this wonderful dude on Reddit said. Username Stront1996.
Dude on Reddit.
Makes a very good point that needs to be discussed, and he is basically disagreeing with all the Bitcoin critics, who are too numerous to name, when the comparisons to the dot-com bubble are made in the 90s. People are always saying, you were talking about it earlier, is it 1997 right now, or is it 94? Where are we? Are we at the 97 or the 99 part of the bubble in terms of it being about to burst? But... I just want to read the thoughts from Stront1996 on Reddit. The dot-com bubble was from 1997 to 2000. Yeah, I guess when it really hit a peak. Crypto bubble, on the other hand, has just started in 2017.
Ooh.
That's why I like that. No one really has said that the bubble just started. But don't we kind of think it has just started, Pete? We looked at the amount of ICO money versus venture capital money that has only really ramped up in 2017.
Or, I mean, didn't the bubble start when that guy bought the very regrettable pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin, which is, like $190 million today?
Ooh, the VGP.
Wasn't that the beginning of the bubble?
The VGP, was that the beginning of the bubble? What year was it?
In 2011?
Was it? Whenever that was.
Something like that.
We've all heard about somebody ended up getting a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. No, I don't think the bubble started then.
Of course not. Neither do I.
Because adoption was not even there yet.
But all the charts start the bubble there.
All the charts do start the bubble there. Every time you look
that's like the supposed to be normal area where 10,000 Bitcoin bought a pizza.
Yeah.
And then the rest, then it goes parabolic, which...
Hockey stick.
Which, I mean, and it's using that as the baseline. That chart would look very different if you didn't start at 30 cents or 2 cents or whatever. I don't know what they're starting
as the
at.
product was building, as it was enacting all sorts of different forks and new software protocols and core developers crunching the numbers, cranking out different code, tweaking it, improving it.
And as the dollar's losing value.
Further
making the chart tip this way. But, I mean, it's not that is not as much of a consideration, but imagine if that tulip bubble graph started like 200 years before the tulip thing, when tulips were way cheaper, and then you looked at it, you can't, when you start considering things a bubble matters.
I have
You
to
don't just start at the initiation of the technology. Like the NASDAQ bubble chart doesn't start at the
ENIAC,
beginning of the NASDAQ.
the first
ENIAC.
computer.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what else does this guy say? He says Ethereum is the coin that brought big businesses and ICOs to crypto. Ethereum, as we know it today, was made in mid-2016, and the big things started happening at the beginning of 2017. So we are just 1 year into the quote-unquote mania. That's what I added the quotes. Now we have to take into account how much easier it is to buy crypto than stocks in 1997, and also how crypto is a much wider and diverse public something. Yeah, okay.
Has a much wider and diverse public.
The dot-com bubble popped at $6 trillion, and if you adjust for inflation, it's worth $8.5 trillion today. Furthermore, due to the wider scope of crypto, I believe this market will at least reach 3 times that cap, so $25.5 trillion. We are just at the beginning. Food for thought.
Interesting. So he's saying it can go up about 50x more before a bubble. Now, again, I mean, this guy's speculating too.
He is.
But he's giving people reason to question that we have to be in a bubble.
And we also need to reiterate that it's annoying, the charts for the bubble. They start the graphs for Bitcoin so that they mirror all these previous historic bubbles. They say, let's take the Bitcoin price, bring it back to when it was 2 cents. Bring it back to when the guy bought the pizza, the very regrettable pizza. That's not accurate.
I don't want to predict the future.
Oh, well.
The dollar could last. The dollar could last a number of decades out. It would be silly to call it for next year. People have been doing that since the freaking 70s.
Right. At the end of the.
But it might happen next year, and nobody knows. We're just in everything about this economy, and I'm not just talking about crypto, but about this whole. $21 trillion unknown spending, and
the Dow Jones at an all-time high, and that doesn't make sense.
It's all unknown. What we do know is that all currencies eventually fail.
That is something.
And it might happen by the time this podcast is out.
It could.
Or it might
very well
happen for a long time. Basically, have a plan either way, is what I'm saying.
What else have we seen? What else have we seen in a chart that we've already mentioned so many times?
Oh, right.
Its relation to the stock market.
It's not just the value of the dollar that's concerning. It's also the amount of debt the government has in those dollars.
And the amount of money that was funneled into the stock market to bring it up to an all-time high as of late.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, how about we talk about the time frame in which quantitative easing happened, the program where the government propped up the formerly devastated stock market because of the housing bubble bursting during the Obama years.
Well, during the Bush years and the Obama years.
It started at the end of Bush, but all through Obama years.
Right, yeah, continued.
It's
the kind of thing that once you pop, you just can't stop. It's like...
You got to pump up that bubble.
Just got to keep going. Like, take any business or any person who has a lot of money they owe, so they take out loans to pay the money they owe. And then they have to take out loans to pay those loans. And it keeps getting worse.
But you're still turning a profit.
Right, exactly.
People are still getting paid.
It seems like everything is still going okay.
It's still a company.
And it seems like you can continue to pay your debts. But nope,
here's the thing.
Eventually the ship going to come down.
Is it going to come down? We haven't seen the inflation.
We do see the dollar falling.
I don't think something as big as the dollar falls slowly. How about that?
You don't think it falls slowly? I mean, like a 60-cent candy bar when I was in high school is now $1.40 or something like that.
I'm going to put it this way.
That's actually a pretty big fall, but
when you kill the giant that's just destroying the countryside with a carefully placed stab to the neck or whatever, he's not going to die slowly. He's going to die fast, and everyone's going to feel it. How about that?
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is there's there's like a delayed effect where there's this massive amount of qualitative easing.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits, and then what is it? It just means the economy is eventually doomed? The dollar's eventually doomed?
It's not a good sign. And if everything seems okay, but there's more money in existence than there has ever been, and there's more debt than there has ever been, and there's a perfect competitor for the old system, That's what I'm concerned with. The perfect competitor exists. It's a giant ecosphere. What? Cryptosphere? Nerd money? Planet Nerd money is here.
It needs to become fungible. It needs to become spendable.
Okay.
That's a major challenge.
How long does it take for a gas station owner to figure out that a cryptocurrency transaction could be way better if it's instant and there's no 3-day waiting period for credit card to settle and the fees are way, way cheaper?
Yeah.
And you don't need to have a $10 minimum or whatever you say. How long are people going to figure that out? What's the inflation rate, or how many extra fees do the banking companies have to tack on before every little mom and pop type of store is just like, well, I'm done with that green stuff. It could happen so quick, just like the giant falling.
There's, I seem to think there might be right on this. There's speculation that Walmart might actually lead the charge.
Would they?
Among the big corporations. I'm serious.
But they're so patriotic. People that like country music shop there.
Yeah, I know.
How could Walmart betray the empire in such a terrible, devious manner?
By accepting cryptocurrency.
Which ones? What are they talking about? Or
I don't
rumors?
know. It's just rumors. If there were rumors about specific ones, I would buy them now because they would shoot up. So the dollar is ultimately doomed. And we know that the major other powers in the world are and have been doing whatever they can. I'm talking Russia, OPEC, China, really, have been doing whatever they can to undercut the dollar and to make it stop being the world reserve currency.
Oh, yeah. That's a thing.
And, maybe that would mean they'd make some big moves in crypto. Maybe they would like to see crypto topple the dollar because they'd be on more level footing there. But I don't know. In any case, the dollar's days are numbered. Whether that will be next month or whether I will be dead, I don't know.
You didn't have to go there. Whoa.
You're right that there's such a great replacement. And when I die, I want my crypto to securely pass down to my friends and loved ones. Somebody, please, invent a solution.
So who knows? It's a weird time. Everything's crazy. And what are other people worried about?
Pretty much. You see the social media storm about, you know what I'm talking about?
Everyone's worried about the net neutrality thing.
Net neutrality.
What the heck is that about, Pete?
Quick summary. Net neutrality was instituted during the Obama administration to make sure that internet service providers could not give preferential treatment to certain websites and corporations, basically ensuring that people like us here at the Blockheads, if we put up a website and some content, that it wouldn't be served to you more slowly than content from a giant like Netflix, or you wouldn't have to pay for like the amateur websites tier in order to get access to the Blockheads pod.
Yeah, there could be tiers potentially because it's a very monopolistic space and some people only have access to one internet service provider.
Yeah, where I live, there was only one provider, and everybody hates that provider, but there's nothing you can do about it. Now, there haven't been any changes yet. You didn't just suddenly wake up and Hulu went way slower than Netflix or something on your system, on your internet. But people talk about 20-year plans, where something like we see in some other countries will be phased in. So anyway, everyone's riled up over this on both sides because some people say, well, the government shouldn't be messing with the free market, and it's the government's fault in the first place that there are these monopolies because of the FCC getting involved and it costs so much to become a new internet service provider. Whereas the other side is saying, hey, the corporations shouldn't be ruling our lives.
What about these corporations? They're controlling what kind of information we can get, and they're trying to censor things, and they're not letting me find my organic, vegan, gluten-free recipes. Beef burritos. My internet service provider has an agreement with McDonald's. They throttle my internet every time I look up healthy recipes. That's crazy. I'm going to write my congressman and ask him to save everybody. Something, I don't know. It's crazy confusing.
But one side is pointing out that the solution is not government regulation, and the other side is pointing out the solution is not capitulation to corporate greed.
But there's an answer in the middle. What if there's a nerd money solution? What if there's an NMS, a nerd money solution?
Blockchain solves everything.
I mean, it could, maybe. Well, what if I tell you that there's a bunch of projects already, Pete, in the pipeline?
NMNN reports on NMNSs to save the NN problem, net neutrality.
Yeah, there you go.
The NMNNNS report.
This is the NMNN. Today, we want to talk to you about NMSs and how they can help you from the NN. This is NMNN. So
people reading the transcript would be so confused. This is
So, okay, Pete, let's talk about real-world nerd money solutions to this net neutrality kerfuffle. What is it? Is it a disaster? It's a panic. It's a mania. It's insania.
So we've got euphoria on one hand, and insania on the other hand.
Yeah, it's good.
With their powers combined.
What do we have?
I don't know.
Too much free time.
Too much free time. So we're not chilling here. I own a couple of these.
I own some as well of this coin that you mentioned the name.
The first coin up is Nexus.
Yeah.
Mentioned it before. It wants to put the next web, kind of affectionately being called the alternet among the community, above our heads via cube satellites in space. Low Earth orbit, lightweight satellites that use Li-Fi, not radio waves to give you whatever cancer you hypothesize you might get, but light, visible light that is too quick and too dim to see.
Super high fast pulses of light.
Yeah, Li-Fi.
Super fast.
You can actually get this. Well, actually, I don't know if you can get this. But at some point in the future soon, you're going to be able to get Li-Fi for your house. Apparently, it's 500 times faster than Wi-Fi.
Huh.
Of course, you have to see the router. You have to be within visual range of the router. But hey, on the plus side, your neighbor can't camp outside or lean up against your wall and grab your Wi-Fi because you don't have Wi-Fi. You have Li-Fi.
Huh. You mentioned lightweight. Everybody envisions a satellite as maybe being cylindrical, and then there's two big solar arrays or wing-looking things.
We're talking CubeSats.
We're talking
solar arrays on the side. They're cubes, and they're just a couple pounds.
A couple pounds. They could fit in a shoebox or something.
Well, I don't know about that, but
it's not Skylab. If one of these satellites falls on your house, well, it wouldn't. It would burn up way before, and it's not like Skylab.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, the plan is to launch these satellites in 2019. Nexus has partnered with Vector Space Systems. Actually, the Nexus lead dev's father, Jim Cantrell, is a SpaceX founder who left SpaceX to start Vector Space Systems to focus on smaller payloads in space, cheaper, economical satellites rather than these huge, massive payloads that SpaceX is kind of working on with their Falcon Heavy and such.
That's awesome.
So that's the plan, and Nexus has already developed a lot of the lower level stuff needed for an efficient distributed internet. They call it the lower level library, protocol, and database. That's the long-term game for Nexus. Not only a cool currency, but also an internet and a free internet for everybody.
Okay, that's the difference between a lot of these projects.
Right.
Nexus is the one that would be free, so long as you have hardware that could pick up the Li-Fi, right?
Yeah.
All you got to do is make one purchase, and you got the entire repository of human knowledge and human connectivity at your disposal.
Right. And
holy shit,
there are problems to be solved, obviously, but they're ahead of the game, and yeah, I'm not surprised that Nexus went up like 4 or 5x over the past couple of weeks because they're starting to get discovered. It's starting to be discovered. Speaking of massive growth, though, there's another example that both of us are familiar with that I think you like, Rocco.
I was looking at it. Yeah, okay. So this coin's called Substratum, and it saw a little bit of growth for sure recently, and a little bit of hype on the cryptocurrency subreddit. So I started looking at it, and okay, by the way, I gotta mention, why are we even talking about this? My buddy Dylan, shout out, he asked me, are you going to talk about net neutrality? So the answer is yes. We're doing it now. You're welcome, Dylan. Okay. So Substratum, they're a service that is asking its users to run a node at home. Run a home node at home, homeboy.
What's a node?
What is a node? A node is a station on the highway of internet traffic. Remember in 1994, Everyone says we're stuck in 1994 still. It's a superhighway of information. Okay, then a node is, I don't know, a truck stop, a gas station. It's one of them booster things in F-Zero that makes you go faster. I don't know.
Checkpoint in every racing game.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's
terrible example.
Yeah, a station's better. Think a subway
station.
Whatever,
it's a subway station for
and,
interchange.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you can be a node runner. Ooh, remember Load Runner? That was a sick game.
Yes,
okay.
I do remember Load Runner. So anyway, now this is your chance to be Node Runner.
That's awesome. They want you to run a node. You'll get paid in Substratum, and it's a project that is focusing on hosting of websites specifically.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a website you need to get hosted, blockheadspod.com, for instance, you can pay Substratum, and you don't have to give your money to Amazon Web Services, the 400-pound gorilla.
Which I don't know if you guys know, but Amazon Web Services is so big, actually it's more revenue for Amazon as of their last report than their online marketplace website that you probably have used the last week.
That's crazy.
It's not more income, but it's more revenue. And Amazon Web Services runs so much of the internet now. These Blockheads episodes get served via Amazon Web Services.
Oh, don't tell anybody that.
It's not that I chose to do that.
That's like saying we shop at Walmart. It's so basic.
I didn't really even choose that.
We have no choice. Basically.
Well, there's other ways to do it, but all the good podcasting services that I found use Amazon Web Services.
Damn it.
So when you keep things in the cloud, it's likely they're not kept in the cloud. They're kept in Amazon's garage, or, well, really, really big garage. And so Substratum looks to replace that with a decentralized service.
And there's so much money to be made. Okay, it's not as much as Amazon makes selling products, but the profit margin, the revenue, you're saying? So much revenue. Because what are they doing? They're just selling data back to people.
Remember that scene from Silicon Valley where they go down into the server room and they get completely lost? There's this guy guiding them.
It's John with the ponytail.
Showing them where their box will go.
This is where your end frame box will go. This is where your Pied Piper box will go.
It's like that. They got to pay that. You got to pay that guy and you got to pay the power bill.
Whoa, okay.
And make the money.
So there's another one I found. Skycoin, I'm interested in. I don't know if my order went through, but I'm trying to buy it for sure.
I don't know much about this one.
Okay, I looked it up. It's a project that started way back in the olden days of nerd money, even when Satoshi Nakamoto was still posting on the internet. It calls itself a third-generation cryptocurrency. Skycoin has a different hashing algorithm called Obelisk that, claims that...
Wait. It called itself a third-generation cryptocurrency.
But it's really...
Even though it was...
From back in the day, yeah.
Okay.
It's been in development for a while, I guess, so they're allowed to say whatever they want. Maybe they're the cranky old...
Is that how that works?
That is how that works.
They're the cranky old...
The cranky old man, it's like, what? I'm in the best shape of my life. Okay, Obelisk. They have their own hashing algorithm. That's cool. It says that the final agreement between nodes can be reached fast, would require minimal network traffic, and can withstand large-scale coordinated attack by a well-organized network of malicious blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. They've built a blockchain network that obviously isn't going to suffer some of the setbacks you see with Ethereum or Bitcoin. Transactions are slow or expensive. It has yet to be tested, of course, but it's nice to see that they have a hashing algorithm that seems like it's been kept in the oven long enough. What else about...
Who gets incentivized by what? I mean, how does that work?
Okay, so Skycoin incentivizes users to run a node just like the other one.
Oh, okay.
And they're trying to create a decentralized mesh network.
Like Nexus?
Yeah, people get paid to run... Okay, they get paid in Sky to run a node, and you can pay in Skycoin to buy the service that they call Skywire, the new internet. And thankfully, they didn't opt to call it Skynet.
Oh, come on. I would have bought it right away.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I can't wait till the air's unbreathable. Thank you, Skynet. I love your robots. I love that they don't wear pants. Like what? Okay, it's also weird about Skynet that they, on the website, they have 300 hardware boxes coming out for sale. Just like the Pied Piper box. They have hardware. that is being built.
Please tell me it's pyramid shaped.
It's not pyramid shaped. It's squarular.
Squarular. Cube.
Yeah.
Cube where?
So whatever, but that's a thing to look into. That's a nerd money solution, possibly. Who knows who will win? Maybe all of them will win. I don't know. Pete, you can handle this one, right?
Well, we got one that doesn't really involve new hardware or a new internet at all. It's called Mysterium.
Okay, what's that?
And it's actually probably the most straightforward, despite the name. It's a decentralized VPN.
Ooh, VPNs are very popular.
Yeah, if you've heard of VPNs, a virtual private network, it lets you connect to somewhere else in the world and then access the internet from there. You might use a VPN at work. In that case, you're not necessarily accessing the internet. You're just logging on to a network somewhere else as if you're a part of that network and, your work network. But most people at home, they'll use a VPN to connect to somewhere in Spain or Canada or the US or Romania or Japan or, Cayman, whatever, wherever.
We know you know countries. Yes.
Okay. And access the internet from there. Now, this might be to avoid censorship. It might be to avoid their activity being monitored because their ISP can watch their activity and all they know is that there's this encrypted tunnel going off to, the Netherlands. But meanwhile, anyone observing the traffic to the websites isn't seeing your IP address and where you live when you post to that forum or whatever. They're seeing the VPN addresses. And so if enough people are using this virtual private network, it's quite anonymous because there's hundreds of people connected at a time. You don't know which people went where. But what if the VPN place keeps logs or some other kind of, is compromised in some way?
So you're talking about a centralized VPN.
Yes.
Like
all
what
these VPNs
most
are
people
centralized.
pay for right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of trust them and hope that they're telling the truth, that they're not selling your data or whatever. But Mysterium is a decentralized VPN where you get to share your spare internet bandwidth. It's turning you, the user, into a VPN provider or, into a VPN user of somebody else's bandwidth. More services, of course, means cheaper services too. But so you can use your spare bandwidth to earn Mysterium. And be careful not to exceed your bandwidth levels. But hey, that's how that works. And it's a project I'm really excited about, interested in trying out myself. Not so much to use the VPN, but to use the spare bandwidth and see, what kind of effect that has.
Yeah, see if you can start selling your extra bandwidth and help people, do totally legal stuff.
Will this be the end of the unlimited bandwidth plans, though?
Right. Good question. One more question about Mysterium.
Yeah.
Why on their mentioned on section of the website do they have a BitConnect logo? It goes from legitimate to suddenly not legitimate at all. It's like, hey, we were on Business Insider, we've been mentioned by CoinDesk, we've been mentioned by Forbes, and then it says BitConnect, as if nobody in the company knows that BitConnect is a Ponzi-style affiliate marketing scam.
Well, maybe it's as a VPN. They're like, even BitConnect feels safe pushing their nonsense through our VPN.
No,
that's not it.
I just hope that they know that BitConnect is horrible. But if they don't know, either way, it's bad. If they don't know how horrible BitConnect is, it's bad. If they do know, that's worse.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Okay, so we got through that. What about MaidSafe? Have you looked into that, Pete?
MaidSafe has had some good runs recently. I don't really know too much about MaidSafe.
I think it's doing more than just decentralized storage. I think there's a lot to it. And if I'm in favor of a free internet, I kind of feel like I should just pick up some MaidSafe just because.
Well, MaidSafe markets itself as the new decentralized internet.
Oh.
It says it enables the creation. It's a platform that enables the creation of fast and secure applications.
Oh, they have a messenger too, don't they? Did I read that? Yeah,
so maybe it's less about... I'm just shooting in the dark here, but they've got safe messages,
Yep.
And the authenticator and a safe browser. Maybe it's less about, hosting websites and more about decentralized applications. The currency is the data in MaidSafe.
The medium is the message. Marshall McLuhan.
So MaidSafe is definitely one I'm going to look at a little bit more. They're still in early alpha phase. So they're up and they're running with a product, but I don't know. And then there's a couple more still yet. Have you seen Blockstack?
I tried to look it up, but I was lazy. What do you know about Blockstack?
Yeah, so Blockstack, another thing that markets itself as a decentralized internet where users control their data and apps run on their devices. No middlemen, no passwords, no data silos to breach, no services tracking around the internet. There's a number of projects here to investigate, and I'm not going to go ahead and explain more about Blockstack right now.
That's fine. Okay,
but
so
if you're interested, go ahead and check out Blockstack as well. And
next,
then listen to this.
The next one we want to talk about is cool and fun, and I can't explain it. It's the interplanetary file system.
Interplanetary.
I don't even know if it's a coin, but we want to talk about it. Yeah, why is it interplanetary? Are they straight up saying that our software can connect the World Wide Web of this world, and then maybe if there's people on the moon, they will also benefit from our software? What?
Maybe they're just jumping the gun. They're like, look, by the time crypto takes over, Elon Musk himself, and maybe nobody else, but the man himself is going to be living on Mars.
Well, guess what? You can have Li-Fi shooting at the moon, Mars, and Titan, Europa, all the places.
Wow. Yeah, I would love to visit Europa, but you think you could run Li-Fi that? I guess so.
You shoot it, right?
Yeah,
it's a beam. Okay, so the interplanetary file system says that what does HTTP stand for anyways?
Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Yeah, that thing. It's inexpensive. It's inefficient and expensive. HTTP downloads a file from a single computer at a time instead of getting pieces from multiple computers simultaneously. And with video delivery, a peer-to-peer approach could save 60% in bandwidth costs.
Right, we're running on, you've been in Manhattan. You've been in Manhattan.
Yes.
Have you ever been to a, modern planned city? Let me think of one.
I think they say Chicago is like that.
Okay.
Because they had a big fire. They rebuilt everything, and maybe it's a little bit better thunk out than Boston
or Hong Kong or something like that. You go to Manhattan. The transportation networks run inefficiently. There's these weird crossover streets. There's streets that are too narrow. There's just bad traffic arrangements of all kinds. There's bridges that really throttle things. It's because these systems, this infrastructure, it was not designed for modern vehicles and modern capacity and things like that, right? Well, neither were these early internet systems like HTTP, for instance, and TCP/IP, and the Oracle database that the Berkeley whatever that everybody still uses. We're using databases, protocols, libraries that, while they were created by brilliant people, they're really not as scalable as they need to be for things like what we're trying to do here.
And what they have here is, it's speaking our language pretty much. And I don't know how I haven't heard about this before. Here's how IPFS works. Each file and all the blocks within it are given a unique fingerprint called a cryptographic hash. Wow, that sounds familiar, doesn't it, Pete? IPFS removes duplications across the network and tracks version history for every file. Each network node stores only content it is interested in and some indexing information that helps figure out who is storing what. Okay, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Sounds like the internet on a blockchain. Peer-to-peer. Way smarter. How do we pay? How do I buy it? I don't think I can buy it. That's the only, I think this is just a website I got pointed to because it was on so many other websites because it's such an awesome thing. But
so IPFS isn't.
It's not a coin. I don't think it's a coin. I think it's just.
I don't think it's a coin either.
It's a cool project that needs to happen, and I don't think it's even been monetized.
But so the way around net neutrality and corporate throttling and all that might not be some new piece of legislation. It might be a new piece of innovation.
Oh, speaking of innovation, no, Filecoin. Why is that on here? Is it associated with Filecoin?
Is it really?
What? We just did research right now.
Didn't we just mention the distributed storage? Oh, we did in our little roundup with that guy who GDEX. Boy, that seems like ages ago.
Okay, so I guess there's a partnership between Filecoin and IPFS. So there you go.
Interesting.
If you guys are interested, look it up. I have no financial incentive to say that.
No.
But I'm going to look up Filecoin. So there.
I own a tiny bit of Substratum that I got for free, and I own a small bag of Nexus. And that's it. But I would like to own a lot of these guys.
I have some Storj. Storj is sort of in that sort of... What is Storj?
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Yeah, we've already talked about Storj. People know about that.
So what about Althea then?
It sounds like that gal that used to wake me up when I was sleeping during English class. But anyways, okay, it is also the Althea mesh antennas on the last mile of ISP penetration. And last mile is something Andreas Antonopoulos mentioned in that video about net neutrality recently. The last mile, are you familiar with that? It sounds like maybe where you
bad
had...
Tom Hanks movie?
Yeah, I guess. When a company's running fiber optic cables for broadband service, there's always that last mile, and that's sort of a big problem. It means you only have one provider. It means the company's giving it to you at a loss. And I think if there's a competing company, that company might have to basically sell the last mile to a different company just to keep 100% coverage because they're monopolies. They have to offer it. That's something Andreas was talking about a little bit.
So Althea is actually looking at like the hardware level, right? Like rooftop transmitters.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow, because that's something the others really don't address so much. The others are always about digital infrastructure.
Using the existing
and satellites is different, but even Nexus plans to use the current ground infrastructure as well.
Yeah, so I don't know much about it or how far they are, but I can say bonus to Althea is that they actually had a net neutrality statement that was published topical for people that are searching about this right now.
So did Substratum.
So did Substratum? That's good. Oh, Substratum totally did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not all the coins did. When I went to a site, I was trying to figure out this stuff. I was like, man, come on. Like, this is your moment, you know?
Maybe they're not as US based though.
That is possible. Yeah. So yeah, antennas with Althea. That's a good way to do it.
That sounds like a really cool project too. And
oh, there's another one, Atmos. It's a decentralized file request network.
Atmos, huh?
I did buy some of that. Bounties are put out on content. This is kind of weird. I mean, whatever. I'm into it though, because the developers. I got into the Discord, saw them answering questions. I liked it. I bought a little bit.
Is it specific content? Is it like, hey, I want that Rocky 9, the picture, the movie, and you upload Rocky 9 and then I pay you for it?
Something like that, yeah. Pretty much.
What if you upload a fake Rocky 9 or like a terrible handheld camcorder version that looks really bad?
It is what it is.
That's what it is.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, man.
You get paid in Atmos. You get paid in Atmos.
If you're watching Rocky 9, you're probably not a very choosy person anyway.
I don't know. So that's another one. So there's a lot of options. Yeah, it's all worth looking into if you really care about
Let's just get all
having the internet
companies together. Let's make one blockchain.
I know all the nerd money solutions.
A monopoly
They make a Voltron robot when they work together, and they don't even have to work together. I don't. It's a Megazord.
Well, they do team up sometimes, right?
Sure. I think maybe that would be Nerd Money 4.0 if there's blockchain consolidation, super team-ups, crossover battles.
Yeah.
Algorithm Avengers that are working together. They've decided to go
Wouldn't
up against...
Wouldn't the crossovers tend to be across different kinds, though? Couldn't you see a non-private coin teaming up with a privacy coin?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and maybe teaming up with an internet coin, or like one of these or something.
Sectors.
Various sectors that team up. That would be a powerhouse. Rather than competitors like Monero, Pivx, and Verge and Zcoin all teaming up or whatever, where they're all competitors.
Conglomerates.
You know? Right. That's like HP, Dell, Lenovo, and Toshiba all announce an alliance.
You made your point.
You know?
So you heard it here first, Blockaholics or developers. Charlie Lee.
Consortiums.
Everyone's listening.
Coming.
Vitalik is listening. Name another person. They're too busy typing. So are we done with this? Are we going to wrap it up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up?
I think it's time to wrap it
Okay,
up.
I hear the music. Good.
Woo, yeah, there we go.
So
Shout-outs!
I'll say hi, Mom, because I think my mom is listening.
My mom doesn't listen to this.
Haha.
I don't think my mom knows that this exists.
My mom is better than your mom, Pete.
Because she listens to your podcast?
Yeah, is that the coolest thing I ever said? Or...
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good. Oh, how about social media? If you want to find us on YouTube, we're on YouTube.
Ooh, please go ahead and hit that little subscribe button.
And flick the alert bell. And what else? We are on Stitcher. You
leave
can
a
find
comment wherever you are. Leave a review. Let us know that you are listening and what we can improve.
You can find us on iTunes. You can
so that we can ignore it.
Find us on SoundCloud as well.
Google Play. SoundCloud is being funny, but Google Play definitely. SoundCloud, I think. And yeah, that's where we're at. Look us up on Twitter, Facebook. Go to blockheadspod.com. Throw a /Coinbase in there if you want to get in on your first little bit of Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin.
Oh, yeah, you got to set up your Coinbase now because when all the new altcoins come in 2018, you're not even going to be able to get on the website. It's going to be jammed up, throttled.
Oh, yeah. And verification, which takes a little while, is going to take much longer.
It's going to take longer. Oh, you got to get the nerd money before everyone else because the dollar's collapsing.
FOMO.
I proved that today. It's totally true.
So there we are. Thank you for listening to round 9.
All right.
Next week we're in the double-digit rounds. Never return to the single-digit rounds again.
Round 10 is coming up, but before that, you might find round 0. I don't know. Maybe not. You have to stay tuned. Blockaholics. Crypto-Slovakians, Blockness monsters.
Right, illegal Palians. Throw some Monero.
What if you're one of the people that likes the coin made for big banks? You're a Ripple Stiltskin.
You're driving around like a Satoshi Nakamotorist. So anyway, peoples of the United Coindom, farewell.
British Hodlumbians, enjoy that Canadian life. In Cryptoronto.
Oh, Cryptoronto.
Turn it off.
There we go.
Turn it off.